Hi, I'm Lauren Bash, an environmentalist and storyteller from LA, and I'm so excited to have you here today for the final chapter of my series with IMAGINE5. In the past 2 episodes, we explored how movement and nourishment can deepen our relationship with nature and inspire climate action.
This episode is all about our mental well-being in the midst of a climate crisis and how we can ultimately restore our hope through community. Going outside first thing in the morning is the best way to just recalibrate and reset. And just reconnecting to the natural world around me, listening to the birds, putting my feet on the ground. I feel like all of these practices help me maintain better mental health that maybe in times when I'm feeling anxious or overwhelmed, I can go back to that practice.
This is my must-have in my morning routine. This is an adaptogen mushroom cacao beverage. It's a coffee alternative. It's this special time of day when no one needs anything from you yet, so it's really just your time. This is my homemade almond milk. It's almonds, maple syrup, and cinnamon. Just slows me down in the morning, grounds me, and helps me just be less anxious throughout my day.
I am already a pretty anxious person. I feel like I get easily overwhelmed by things. So when you add a layer of severity and the reality of the climate crisis on top of that, I can get very overwhelmed. My climate anxiety is typically triggered by doom scrolling for too long. And when we have climate scientists who are screaming from the rooftops or handcuffing themselves to buildings saying, code red, we need to do something, my heart breaks for that. And I get really upset looking at how our world leaders are not taking action or even doing the opposite. How do I manage climate anxiety? The first thing is to sit with it. Really let yourself sit with it and experience it. I'm sad and I'm feeling very overwhelmed, and I can acknowledge that. I encourage everyone to have some sort of personal well-being practice. What's something that you're doing that's just for you to check in with yourself? You're literally talking to other people all day, but just talk to yourself. How am I doing? So that is step 1. And then step 2 for me, because I'm a water sign, is I call my mom and I cry. And so I'm always I'm scared about the future. Okay. I think naturally when we're feeling very anxious and overwhelmed, it can feel really isolating. And so for me, even going to a run club, it's a wonderful group of women, and I immediately feel better. I'm not alone. I'm not anxious anymore. Everyone's going through their stuff and we're all processing it. But in the company of others, I'm reminded wow, we are strong and I do got this. And there's so much healing that happens when we are just in the presence of others. And then third, but most importantly, is taking action. So there's a quote that says the antidote to despair is action. Collective action, when we're plugging into community, is where we see the biggest impact. Look at all of the different revolutions that have happened from the beginning of time. And this happened when people organized and got together and said, no more. And that only happens when we are connected and plugging into each other. So collective action is the antidote to despair. Anyone would be easily overwhelmed with all the messages coming at you. What should I be doing? Should I be eating plant-based? Should I be recycling more? Should I be mindful of my carbon emissions and all these should things? But I think the solutions are around you being an expert of your community and what you're passionate about.
A lot of folks ask me, what can I do? I want to take action, but I don't know where to start. And I always tell them, yes, you do. You know what part of the natural world you connect most with. Start there.
When I first joined Surfrider, I didn't know anything about climate solutions, but I knew that I cared about the oceans and the beaches, and I wanted to do something to protect them. That's where our hope tanks are refilled, when we're saying, I don't have to know everything, but I know that I care, and I'm here to help.
I feel like there's so much pressure to do the right things to protect the environment, but it ends up leaving people with this sense of, I don't know what to do.
To sustain hope, we also have to be optimistic. And I feel like a lot of the language we use in climate is it's a fight and it's aggressive and it's this and there's an enemy. But it's also about joy and hope and optimism. What do you want your future to look like in 5 years? I want fruit trees to be lining our streets where people can pick lemons and oranges and avocados and have access to local, healthy, organic food. I want there to be clean air, so when I'm running, I'm not concerned about not being able to breathe, or people in my community being impacted by air pollution. I want to swim in the ocean where it's not full of plastic and where it's clean after a rainstorm. Simple questions like that, perhaps using all of your senses, I think reminds us what we're imagining and how we want to bring that into the present.
There are so many ways we can help protect the places we love. I hope this series serves as a reminder that every time we move, eat, and reflect, we have an opportunity to deepen our connection with ourselves, with others, and with nature. Because taking care of ourselves is also taking care of our beautiful planet.